I understand the desire to still want to classify knowledge. And sometimes there's just this interesting thing that we encounter, or this interesting thing that we think about, that does not fit into a pre-existing project. So for those scenarios, we have the knowledge classification database. We can take a piece of knowledge, and basically what we do is just like artificially draw a box around it and say, from this entire forest of knowledge that we have, I'm just going to box off this little part and I'm going to give that a name. And this is going to be psychology, or it's going to be mathematics, or it's going to be a smaller or bigger class. And we can just sort of like box off a part of that knowledge tree. Now, the risk of classifying knowledge in this way is that we start classifying for the sake of classifying, and that we become overloaded with all of the information, because there's so much information out there. And if I'm like, hey, that's a cool branch, and that's a cool branch, and that's a cool branch, and I'm just all going to connect them to this knowledge class, and we're like starting to create this super elaborate knowledge classification, but it's not actionable, then we overwhelm ourselves without creating any value. And I see this happen a lot in sort of this productivity culture, in the Notion culture, where people just build things for the sake of building things. They're classifying things for the sake of classifying things. That is not what we're here for. We're here to create things, to create value, and to have more results with less effort, not more effort, less results. So that is the risk. That is something that you really need to pay attention to. Does it make sense to classify this? And a sort of rule of thumb that you can use for this is that you want to know all of your knowledge classes by heart. If you don't even know your own knowledge classes by heart, then probably it's not wise to start classifying knowledge in a way. And even if you know them all by heart, really ask yourself this question: am I going to use this knowledge? Is it valuable to me? Is it actionable? And if it's not, I would seriously consider not classifying it. And like I mentioned before, I think that in the very near future, we're going to have AI models that do all this data delving for us. So if we're just classifying knowledge by a theme, we'll have AI to do that. The real interesting part is, how do we take the knowledge and make it valuable? And that is where it's contextual to these projects, to the things we value, to our action. So yeah, feel free to classify, but be wary about overwhelming yourself.